Hello Sea Wolves, welcome back to the show. So another 24 hours of racing is over, a lot has happened. Of course, before we get into all the details, I hope you have something delicious in your possibly official Sea Wolf mug here. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, cheers.
This seat, cozy. I get up next time to show you the beautiful sea. If the next time is tomorrow, then it might be a bit less witness. Tomorrow night we're supposed to pass over Madeira. Yeah, we're going at it into this race, coming into the country. So,
yeah, Boris looking pretty tired, like he's getting into the race, but it seems that he's not getting into it like super easy. Hope he'll be all right. So quite an interesting 24 hours. What we talked about yesterday with Yoann Richomme being kind of the most western boat, and probably that's going to be putting him in a pretty favorable position. Well, I guess that definitely came true, as he's actually now leading the fleet, so that's pretty cool. And also just saw the news that Nicolas Leuven actually broke the 24-hour distance record. So over the last 24 hours he actually hit 546.6 nautical miles, which is roughly 1,012 kilometers.
C'est bien sympa.
It really shows, I guess, that the technology has been moving forward again over the last 4 years. The boat speeds have again increased a lot, and for us to be seeing a distance record this early in the race, it promises a lot. There's a good chance that actually later in the race we'll see it maybe get broken again, because it's obvious that everybody's pushing hard and that the boats are very fast. To see the race really in full swing now. Another point of news, Thomas Ruyant letting us know that he has a slight water leak problem. Not an acute situation, he is basically dealing with it right now as the weather is still a little bit rough, so it's not really the time to effect repairs or figure out exactly what is the problem. But when the weather settles down a little bit, sea state calms down a little bit, he's going to look into it, and for now he can manage, but I guess he is sailing with a little bit of a handicap for now. Okay, well, that's it for the news items from over the last 24 hours. Let's dive into the screen here on the actual tracker. I disabled the sails again. For those of you who were curious how to do that in the tracker, you go on display in the right back corner, and then you have to turn 3D boats here off, and then you have the tracker the way I have it now. So we can see Richome here in first place, and we can clearly see this is the wind prediction for 1 hour from now, but it's basically the same as now. So we clearly see that from the west they made kind of a small turn inward, and now they're kind of making their way, sort of following the outline of the coast of Africa there. If we look a few hours more ahead, so this is 4 hours, 7 hours, 10 hours, 13. Well, you guys can see what I see, of course, is that we have a pretty significant areas which is basically not a lot of wind there, while at the same time we can see that yeah, this area more or less is really kind of providing you know, a path with some wind for the next like 10 hours or so. And so looking at the kind of the position of the fleet now, with Yoann already jibed again and sort of making his way west, it stands to reason, and same thing for several other boats here, Charlie Darlin doing the same. So I think they are more or less on a course right now that they can just follow for maybe the next 24 hours, maybe a little bit more. Just basically downwards. Maybe they'll make a jibe or two, just depending on what the wind is doing. But looking at the wind, they probably can keep on this particular tack, yeah, maybe for like 24 hours or so. After that, it's going to get a little bit interesting again. If we zoom out a little bit here, let me clear this line here, and we go, let's say 16 hours, 19, 25. So you see that line that I talked about is basically going to remain good as long as they really stay clear of this whole area off of Africa. But at the same time, we see here that we have another kind of problem with a system that is kind of really staying there. It's kind of the Azores High. You could say that the Azores High is a bit like, seems split up in two, partly a little bit on the coast of Africa, partly in the middle there. But it's very big, very active it seems right now. And so that leaves a pretty narrow road here, as you guys can see, for the skippers to maneuver through. If we go up to here, well, let's go 34 hours, kind of the same picture, 43 hours, even if you go 58 hours, where the prediction becomes less usable, you see that, yeah, really on this kind of latitude, there starts to become problems. So for the next, like, maybe 36 hours or so as far as distance goes, I think they're good. But then they're going to be finding themselves somewhere in, well, you know, roughly like this area, let's say. It depends a bit on which boat you're talking about and how fast they're going. And yeah, that means that when they are there at 34 hours plus, 37 hours plus, there's still this little bit of a path, let's say here, a bit of a corridor here between the two systems where we just have no wind. But it's closing quite rapidly, and the winds there are not very strong. So about like 50 hours or so, and once we get there, then actually we have, well, pretty much very slow winds throughout this whole zone here. And so that means that there's a good chance that probably, maybe the leaders in the fleet will be able to kind of maybe get through in time. So we're talking 52 hours, so a bit more than 2 days, right? So they might be able to make it somewhere like here-ish, let's say. If they go really fast, maybe quite beyond, and they could kind of get more into this stuff, giving them more wind, kind of making them able to make their way sort of towards the doldrums. But they're going to not only have to kind of find their way through here, hopefully as fast as possible before the wind really shuts down, but then they're also going to still have to do a significant amount of westing, because as we discussed also in the show yesterday, ultimately the goal is to be in a good position to kind of pass the doldrums, and they ideally want to do that kind of in this zone here, because too close to Africa, the chance that you're going to get completely stuck in the doldrums there is very high. So they want to be a lot more to the west, and in general, well, you can see the ideal line here also. Yeah, you want to do it sort of somewhere here, and yeah, that leaves still quite some distance to be crossed also in a western direction from where they are now. So yeah, that's kind of what they're going to have to deal with. I think in general, we can expect a line that looks something like this. And then probably, but it could be that depending on the wind, they'll cut off a little bit earlier. When exactly they're going to do that, and how exactly the wind is going to allow them to do that. So that is kind of the navigational challenge for the next 48 hours or so to get in a good position. Then another 20, 24, maybe 30 to really go south as much as possible and hopefully get through the, well, let's call it a gate, get through the Azores High before it kind of closes on them, and then yeah, making a turn and making as much western distance as possible to get into a good position to go past South America towards the St. Helena High. So lots to do, of course, many days to cover, but that's kind of the situation now. All in all, another very good 24 hours, no major damages, everybody moving very fast. The fleet seems to be still very competitive, both in the back and in the front. There's a lot of little battles going on, so that's very cool to see. A new speed record. What more can you want from the start of a new Vendee Globe? Really, really cool. Okay, so that's it for the report today. Please like, subscribe, make sure to share the videos with anyone you think might be interested to follow it also. And I guess we'll see each other again tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.